Well, it depends whether they're watching Newsmax or whether they're watching the lying legacy media, right? If they're Newsmax viewers, if they're listening to my show on Salem every day, then they get it. And let's just be clear here: a lot of worrying, consternation. Oh my gosh, she's so popular. As the great Rich Barris, one of the few pollsters I trust, said on Twitter yesterday, he said, if you're stealing the other candidate's policies, that's not because you're winning. So whether it's lying about being tough on the border or literally stealing word for word the president's no tax on tips, this is a bad sign for the Kamala campaign. And they're desperate. They have no ideas. Her website, we're 3 weeks in, her website has no policies on it. The only interesting thing on her website is that last week on Thursday, they deleted Command Sergeant Major from in front of Tim Walz's title. So that's the only thing happening on her website.
Yeah, there's nothing on her website about policy. If you go on, there's a lot of places that you can donate. I mean, the homepage, every little page there that you click on, donate, donate. And she was asked when she's going to start putting policies out there. And she said, well, sometime next week. I mean, Sebastian, I don't understand. You're running for president and you don't have a policy on your website. You haven't really talked about what you plan on doing. But then if you look at people who support her, they don't really know why they're supporting her, though.
Yeah, I played a video last week of female voters being asked about Kamala, and very wisely, this was Campus Reform asked the voters, so do you like Kamala Harris? And they said, yes, she's great. And then they went back and asked every single one, why? None of them, not one of them could give you a policy because, look, what is the only thing she's known for? Being the border czarina. And if that's the case, you can't memory hold that. You can't delete that. She is responsible for letting in more than 20 million illegals. She's responsible for the death of Jocelyn Nungare, for Laken Riley, on and on and on. So, yes, they're desperately trying to reinvent her. But if you've been awake for the last 3.5 years, if you've got a pulse, you know the economy, open borders, crime. This is on the doorstep of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You can't wash that off her. The three issues Americans care about: open borders, crime, and the economy. She is part and parcel. Oh, and by the way, she was the tie-breaking vote to pass the bill that would have taxed tips, okay? She can't run away from that, no matter how much she hides.
Yeah, you're right. But remember now, the left is saying, well, she really wasn't the border czar. I mean, she really wasn't put in charge. They're trying to change that, too. But I want to get your take on this because, you know, we're both in the media, and it's been 22 days since she rose to the top of the ticket. Still no sit-down interview, but she's getting support from her side. Here's Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar defending her.
21 days, Jonathan.
3 weeks.
She started running for president. Before that, she did tons of interviews. She's done interviews with you. She's done interviews. I'm sure she's going to do interviews.
No, she said she may do an interview by the end of the month. So, all right, maybe she does do an interview. Who knows who it's going to be with and the type of questions she's going to be asked. But do you think that this does affect her? Because it really seems that this is a strategy that's working for her to avoid the media.
Well, look, this is the strategy. She's not just copycatting my former boss. She's copycatting her current boss, Joe Biden, who literally hid in his basement. Remember that photograph of that solitary campaign where they had, what, half a dozen painted circles for people to stand in? That was the idea of a ground game for Joe Biden. She's doing the same. That clip from, what was it, Thursday night, where a reporter says, hey, President Trump has agreed to 3 debates. Are you going to go to 3 debates? And she says, oh, well, we've got this September debate. It's not the question, Kamala. 3 debates. Are you going to go to 3 debates or not? She is trying to run from the truth because we saw her at Andrews Air Force Base. She spoke extemporaneously for 18 seconds, Allison. It was a disaster.